While watching a movie, a man was shocked to discover an actor who looked exactly like him. He knew for certain he'd never acted in any films, so he immediately Googled the actor's information. The actor's name was John, and his face was identical to his own. Determined to learn more about John, Nick found the actor's company address online. Nick showed up at John's company wearing sunglasses, hoping to avoid being recognized by security. But the guard spotted him anyway. Just when Nick thought he was about to be exposed, the guard handed him a letter addressed to John, mentioning they hadn't seen him in 6 months. The guard had mistaken Nick for John. Nick took the letter and left the building. He called the number on the letter, but John's wife answered. When she called out John's name, Nick realized their voices were identical too. The wife assumed it was John calling, but Nick hung up, too nervous to continue. Back home, Nick called John's number again. This time John answered, but his wife thought he was talking to his ex-wife. She assumed they were getting back together and started a huge fight. Her husband tried to explain that the caller claimed to look exactly like him, even with the same voice. Nick wanted to meet John that night, and the phone conversation had sparked John's curiosity too. He looked Nick up online and discovered he was a teacher. John wrote down Nick's contact information and slipped it into his pocket. Late that night, John's wife secretly read the note, which had Nick's address and phone number. The next day, she went to the school despite being heavily pregnant. She was stunned to see Nick. He looked exactly like her husband, but Nick didn't recognize her at all. He even asked how many months pregnant she was. After Nick stood up, the shocked wife immediately called John. The voice on the phone left her completely bewildered. When she got home, she could barely look at John's face. Under John's persistent questioning, she admitted she'd met someone who looked exactly like him. Driven by curiosity, John arranged to meet Nick. When they finally met, both men fell silent. After all, who could believe something so incredible? John asked Nick to hold out his hands. Eerily, their hands were identical too. John mentioned he had a scar on his chest, which terrified Nick. He felt like he was talking to a mirror. Nick fled in panic and rushed to the restaurant where his mother worked. He asked her if he had a twin brother and why he only had half a photo. But his mother cut off his suspicions and brought out a bowl of blueberries. Strangely, Nick didn't even like blueberries.